As we reported earlier, Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Singapore, the second stop on his first official visit to Asia. Joining us now is political analyst Raphael Melancon. And Raphael, Mark Carney may be in Asia, but there's still a lot of talk about the United States and President Trump cutting off negotiations over an anti-tariff ad paid for by the government of Ontario. What do you think of Premier Doug Ford's strategy and also the Prime Minister's response to it?
Well, Maya, to be honest, I think it was a pretty good strategy because we see from the reaction on the U.S. side from the Trump administration that we clearly have struck a nerve here. This strategy was aimed at changing public opinion in the U.S. on the U.S. side regarding the tariff war that Trump is waging on Canada. And obviously, this strategy has resounded. Using the words of a legend like Ronald Reagan has found some echo, of course, within the core base of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And this is why Donald Trump has reacted this way, of course. Now, the question remains, did Mark Carney and his chief of staff see the ad before it was aired on U.S. television, as Doug Ford suggested? That's still not clear today. And so far, what we hear from Mark Carney is that he seems like he's looking for a scapegoat here to justify the fact that the negotiations were leading nowhere between Canada and the U.S. So he's blaming basically the Ford administration and the Ontario government for basically scrapping the negotiations between the U.S. and Canada. But as we've heard this weekend from Trump's top economic advisor, it's not the only reason. There's a series of factors that led to these negotiations being stopped here.
Okay, so we move from the Prime Minister's trip to Asia and all of the ongoing disputes between Canada and the U.S. to something very local here in Montreal, the STM, and yet another strike ahead. And you're questioning where is the political leadership in this?
Where's the political leadership? Of course, we still have a mayor at City Hall. Valérie Plante is still our mayor until November 2nd. She's nowhere to be seen at the moment, whereas hundreds of thousands of commuters, the core base of her party usually, are being held hostage right now by unions. And there's going to be not one, but two strikes starting this Friday. And this is going to be happening until the end of November. So a whole month of strikes, both on the maintenance employees side and also the metro conductors and bus drivers side. So major impact to be expected here in Montreal's public transit system. And yet we need to hear, I'm waiting also to see some action from the Quebec government. We've seen just last weekend the Quebec government forcing new conditions on the doctors who were refusing to negotiate in good faith with the government on their work conditions and their labor conditions. I hope that we will see that same kind of leadership from the Quebec government with the STM here, because let's just give an example here. $120,000 a year. This is what a bus driver earns on average per year if you include overtime and other benefits. I mean, their situation is far from being miserable, obviously, and they're still asking for 25% increases in salary over the next 5 years. At some point, you got to be reasonable. If not, then sadly, we're going to have to force conditions on you.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, Raphael. Thank you. We appreciate your insights as always.
My pleasure, Maya. See you next time.